Okay. So I don't think this call is going to last, more than 30 to 35 minutes. But what I wanted to do was first of all, just give you guys, a few important updates on just kind of how things are going. I think it's important for you to hear from me because, we don't have the chance to interact in person as much as, we used to. And, I think it's important that, we share some success stories, some things that are working, when it comes to the laptop. There are a number of people that are stepping up and doing a phenomenal job of going through the virtual presentation. And, what I could tell you from my perspective as an SGA, if I was an agent or an SA or a GA or an MGA right now, I would be spending as much time as I possibly could to master the virtual presentation. Even though we don't have word from the company or from Globe that this is going to be permanent, they always give themselves an out. I do believe that it will be if we give them a good reason for it. In other words, production is good, the integrity of the business is good, the quality of the business is good, the underwriting is good, we're providing the necessary information. I mean, how many of you guys like writing thousands of dollars in business? You haven't even had to do an oral specimen yet. Okay. I mean, that's phenomenal. How many of you like being at home, wearing sweatpants and a blouse and being able to make thousands of dollars? That was Holly, thousands of dollars in income. How many of you like the idea that you can give a presentation in Austin and give your next presentation 5 minutes later in Houston and give your next presentation 5 minutes later in Palestine and give your next presentation 5 minutes later in El Paso, Texas? How much does that open up to referrals? How much does that open up the geography in the state of Texas? How much does that open up your opportunities to make more money? How many of you are excited that people that prior to this being approved by our company, were not potentially even able to do the job? They had, physical impairments that would maybe prevent them from being able to perform the responsibilities of the position, whether it's, physical stuff or whatever it may be. And now those people can go out and they can go and sell insurance. How many of you are excited that you don't have to put thousands of miles on your car, spend all kinds of gas money, driving from home to home, and you're able to just be at home and jump on a laptop and give a presentation from pretty much anywhere? How many of you like the fact that you don't have to worry about tires being blown out? How many of you like the idea that when you're a field trainer, you don't have to make sure your car is pristine and clean when you have someone in there, that if you got a couple of water bottles in your car, it's not the end of the world? How many of you on this call like the idea that at the moment's notice, when someone needs insurance in the state of Texas, you can jump on your laptop and you can write them up for a policy? How many of you like the idea that for, what Zoom Pro costs, which is $15 a month, you save more than that in gas in just one day of giving virtual presentations? How many people like the idea that when you're making phone calls and you're booking appointments, that when someone is excited and ready to sit down with you right then and there, you can call the audible and go give a presentation during phones at that moment? How many of you like the idea that you don't have to keep restocking your folders with thousands of worksheets and, presentation sheets, and, you can write right on a screen for people? How many of you like the idea of having everything right at your fingertips? When it comes to, having ARC, Agency Resource Center, you can get every single addendum, every health authorization. How many of you like the idea that you can do a paper app through virtual without even having to be in the person's home and get authorization to be able to sign for it? How many of you like the idea that in order for these deals to go through, the person has to respond back saying that they authorize all of this and they want the program? I mean, what better way is there to solidify something than to get an email back? And so, to me, I can go on and on and on and on and on. I'm so excited about this. Okay. So excited about this. So let me recognize those of you over $1,000 in production for the week. Over 90% of our business, over 90% of our $61,000 in business so far has come from virtual presentations, from the privacy, security, cleanliness of your own bathrooms, cleanliness of your own homes, without other kids' germs, other kids' dogs jumping on you, and you're making thousands upon thousands of dollars and building renewals and longevity in the future. Okay. Starting out with, out of team Dominic Williams, $1,044 of ALP, Xavier Williams. Out of team Jose Viramontes, $1,067 of ALP, Bobby Erickson. Out of team Andy Batten, $1,080 of ALP, Edric Shelby. Out of team Nikki Sanders, $1,225 of ALP, Charles Hurd. Out of team Clayton Slaughter, $1,127 of ALP, Bobby Williams. Out of team Nikki Sanders, $1,139 of ALP, Adam Carlisle. Out of team Nikki Sanders, $1,230 of ALP, Taekwon Pugh. Out of team Holly Bonhorst, $1,312 of ALP, Wanda Shingler. Out of team Max Akers, $1,360 of ALP, Chris Gonzalez. Out of team Clayton Slaughter, $1,426 of ALP, Portia Branch. Out of team Nikki Sanders, $1,467 of ALP, Aaliyah Williams. Out of team Nikki Sanders, $1,712 of ALP, Justin Spear. Out of team Max Akers, $1,817 of ALP, Armando Marquez. Out of team Holly Bonhorst, $1,857 of ALP, Holly Bonhorst. Out of team Jose Viramontes, $2,098 of ALP, Kate Hernandez. Out of team Nikki Sanders, $2,199 of ALP, Isaac Foster, all 100% virtual. Kate Hernandez, all 100% virtual. Holly Bonhorst, all 100% virtual. Armando, I'm assuming all 100% virtual. Justin Spear, all 100% virtual. Out of team Andy Batten, $2,219 of ALP, Derek Davenport, 100% virtual. Out of team Nikki Sanders, $2,270 of ALP, Monica Montgomery, 100% virtual. Out of team Holly Bonhorst, $2,282 of ALP, Sam Deatley, 100% virtual. Out of team Nikki Sanders, $2,338 of ALP, Alyssa Gallardo, 100% virtual. Out of team Andy Batten, $2,644 of ALP, Chris Collins, 100% virtual. Out of team Clayton Slaughter, $2,996 of ALP, Mark Bruce. Out of team Nikki Sanders, $3,064 of ALP, Cameron Mitchell, 100% virtual. Out of team Myra Robles, $3,739 of ALP, Jerry Gonzalez. Out of team Nikki Sanders, $4,041 of ALP, 100% virtual. It's Stephanie Dunbar. I'm going to have a number of people share with you their success stories, what is working for them, what they're finding is working. And I'm going to start out with our number one for the week so far at $4,041 of ALP. I know she wrote a large couple deals last night. One was a rolled referral. She got to roll it right to another virtual. Okay, so that's another amazing opportunity and possibility. And guys, while people may not want you in their house at 11 or 12 o'clock at night, they may be okay to be on webcam. So, just things to keep in mind, how it opens up so many opportunities for our people, for you. It gives you so much flexibility. I mean, how many of you guys have kids at home that now you can make them dinner, put it on the table, and then jump back in and start giving presentations? How many of you, would love to attend your church service, but it was difficult on Wednesday nights because you were in the field? Now you can book appointments before your church service, watch your live stream of the church service, because that's what all the churches are doing. Then jump back on your appointments and go give some more presentations and make some more money. Game changer. And I thank all of you that are doing a phenomenal job with this and staying committed to the process, because that's what it takes. We're all smart. We're all gifted. We're all wise. We're all able to do this, but we just have to stay committed. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick it over to Stephanie Dunbar and have Stephanie share some tips with you guys of things that have worked for her up until this point in time. Where are you at, Stephanie? Let me maximize your window.
Can you hear me? Okay, it's freezing, but I should be able to hear me. So a couple things that I've been doing with these virtual presentations, I find it way much better than going into the field, wasting my gas, getting no show and stuff like that. I changed my mindset in the beginning because it is difficult, obviously, adapting to something brand new, that we are, we're so used to going into the field, doing presentations, seeing the people, touching on them during the presentation, all that good stuff. So one thing I did first was change my mindset. I was talking to Nikki. I was like, man, it's just not going good. I had all no shows and stuff my first day. And one thing she said, she was like, you got to think of it just like you're in the field. So that's what I thought of it, just like I was in the field. I know if I get 3 sits, I'm gonna sell one person. Especially with training too, it's a lot more pressure, but it's way much easier because one person hang up or one person don't answer, we're on to the next. Like, there's no time to get in your feelings or anything like that. It's just you got to keep that work ethic up. So another thing I've been doing. So first is mindset. The second thing is making sure that I'm rolling referrals right on the spot. So just like that call we had with I forget his name that did the free will kit presentation, he was like, roll the referrals right on the spot. That's just what I've been doing. All of my deals have been referrals except for one. And I just been saying, get them on the phone, connect them. I'll send them the link. I'm just been sending the link, connecting them. And it's just been family trees. So it's just really been working that way. You got to get your referral game up. The leads are there for you to collect referrals and last, first couple weeks, but you need to be able to collect referrals, see them, sell them, roll them, and beast at referrals, because those higher closing ratio, higher show ratio, they have trust in you. Someone bought from them, even if it wasn't from a sale, they have that trust in you because the person has contacted them right on the spot. You got to make sure the referrals are contacted. If they're not contacted, you're biting yourself in the butt. You're just doing your work for nothing. So rolling the referrals right on the spot. I've been having a lot of late night sits. So I'm a late night type of girl. I like to work a little later. But people, I guess some of the people are still working. I don't know, but it's just been a lot of late night sits. So I'm up to like 12 or 1 o'clock, training, writing deals. I can care less. I'm in my bar stool, and I can just go right to the bedroom. So I just think it's a great opportunity. Roll referrals, see referrals, set them. It's a game changer, man. You should have no excuses. I don't hear nothing. You're home in your house. You got your kids there. So it's just really no excuses at this point. We just really got to show the company that this works, and so we can keep it in place. Because I love it home. I want to stay at home, and we got to keep it going. So that's all
right.
I've been doing is mindset, rolling referrals, seeing them, and setting them right on the spot on the phone.
That's right, Stephanie. That's great advice. Thank you for sharing that with us. Over $4,000 in production, which you're an SA2, and as an SA2 at your contract level, just your advance alone on this amount of production is almost $1,700. I'm sorry, you're a GA. I apologize for that. I forgot that.
I'm like, did you demote me?
I totally forgot that you were a GA. I knew you got promoted. We signed a contract with you. But on your contract level, I just did the math on the amount of business that you did. Just your advance alone, Stephanie, is $1,773. That doesn't include your release money and your renewals down the road. That doesn't include your bonuses for the production that you're doing. And so, you basically, by Friday morning at 21 years old, have made enough income, where you're going to be making over $100,000 a year if you didn't work Friday, Saturday, Sunday at all. From the comfort of your own home, from the safety of your own home. What a game changer. And a big part of that is not just your attitude, but your level of commitment. And I'm appreciative of it. And it's a great example for so many people in our agency, because change is tough for people. But as Earl Nightingale says, unfortunately, change is the one thing we can always bank on. And I can tell you guys with a lot of certainty of a lot of experience in business, this change is probably the most revolutionary and positive change we've ever had as a company. Okay. As we kind of go through this, we're only going to be better and stronger. You guys are going to make more money, have more free time, have more balance, have more family time, have more time for relationships. This is going to change the game. Thank you, Stephanie. Now, I'm going to move on to a couple of other people who are having success on the virtual presentations. I basically took everyone that's written 100% virtual and has written at least $2,000 in production so far this week to share some of the things that they have found working. And one of the things that I love is that it's a wide range of people. We have people that have not been promoted. We have people that are in the bullpen. We have people that are leaders that are promoted already into leadership roles. And so I'm going to start out with Kate Hernandez. Kate is in Jose Viramonte's organization in Austin. And so, Kate, could you share some of your best practices and things that you've learned, because you've been doing a phenomenal job over the last couple of days of writing a bunch of business?
Yeah, sure. So whenever I am calling everyone, I've always had a really good show ratio. The one thing that you really do need to do though is like focus on your phone. Let them know that we can do this online. You know, use the whole COVID thing going on. That's what I've been doing, and it seems to work a whole lot. People are actually more willing to do face to face with you like this versus you coming into their house. So, and then just act like you're in the field. Have that mindset, just like Stephanie said. Keep it like you're in the field. Have that hustle. Don't ever stop. You know, if one of them no shows you, okay, move on to the next. But I mean, other than that, I mean, just got to keep your mindset. You got to stay disciplined. That's one of the worst things that was for me was I have a hard time staying disciplined at home because you see something and you're like, oh, I got to go do that. But no, you have to really like keep that distance from there, handle your business first, and then you can go mop later. So yeah, just basically keeping it simple.
Thank you, Kate. Doing a phenomenal job. I know this week right now with bonus on your contract as an SA2, you are an SA2. You know, you've made, you know, over $1,200 in income based on, you know, with bonuses and all that from the comfort of your own home, the safety of your own home where you're not interacting with the public, not, you know, you're drinking Coronas, not getting the coronavirus exposure, you know, which is, there it is. And, you know, probably loosens you up during the sits. You know, you're probably way better with the rebuttals and, you know, you're a little more bold than you would normally be. So, you know, that's, don't do that. But I did think about that. Anyways, okay, moving on. Can't drink and drive, but I guess you could drink and Zoom. Anyways, let's go to team. Let's go to, is Sam Deatley on the call? Where's Sam?
Yes, sir.
There he is. All right, Sam. We all want Sam's voice, but we all can't have Sam's voice. Sam, talk a little bit about the success you've had over $2,282 of net ALP this week, virtual. Talk about it.
I think for my first 2 days during virtual appointments, I probably had 10 or so appointments and I had 2 sits. I learned real quick how easy it is to dodge people on these calls, how much more of an emphasis I have to put on kind of solidifying the appointment. You know, solidifying the appointment hard on the phone, calling them that morning, sending the reminder text. I give people the option, hey, I know this stuff is kind of new and hard to use. You know, if you like, I can give you a call about 15 minutes beforehand. That way I can help you get set up. Would you like that? A lot of the older people are like, yeah, perfect. I can get them on the phone and make sure we do it together. And usually that call is just a reminder to say, hey, we've got a fucking appointment. You want to get on the call with me now? I mean, this situation has made it really easy to point out the need for our services if we capitalize on it. So with every call, it's, you know, I understand this is a huge thing for us. How are y'all dealing with this situation? Were you prepared for it, or were you scrambling like every other person I've heard to try and get ready for this when it was already too late? And, you know, it kind of puts that, you know, we shouldn't wait mentality. We should be prepared for events like this. And death is an event that we're all going to reach. So it is still a little bit uncomfortable, but I get to show people my cats. I made over $2,000 in ALP in my PJs. And then, you know, like was able to cook myself a nice celebratory chorizo and eggs afterwards. It was lovely. And then hopped right back on the phone. So this is a huge opportunity. This is something I want to continue with. Got to take the team though. So like with everybody else who is making 2K plus, text them, calling them. I know I'm about to be calling Stephanie to see how she is getting referrals so successfully. So yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Thanks for letting me share.
Great job, Sam. Thanks for sharing all of that. And I agree. It's pretty awesome to be able to make a sale, have a home cooked meal. You know, if you are inclined in the kitchen or on the grill, which I am not. I'm really good at eating though. And, you know, not have to be out and about, you know, eating fast food, shoving fast food in your mouth. That's pretty, financially way better for our health, way better for our health. Okay, let's see here. Let's go to, where's Chris Collins? Where is Chris Collins?
Right here.
There he is.
There he is.
Chris,
how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Chris is at 2,682 $44 in ALP so far this week, well over $1,400 in income based on his contract level. And Chris is so focused and so determined to excel at this that Andy asked for something on their board, and he basically said, "I don't have time for that shit." And
Oh shit! All right.
Which is like a double-edged sword, Chris. Because I
know.
I don't love the answer, but I love I love the edge. You know what I mean? You got to have a little bit of an edge, and I know you're focused and you want to do well with this. And I'm seeing your name, man. Ever since this came out, I'm seeing your name in my inbox day in and day out with authorization forms. It's like you became a completely different man once this was approved, and you took your production to another level. So share with everyone what you're doing, what's working, how did you do it?
Thanks for giving me the opportunity, first of all. So other than sticking with the script and the, just the process that we have to stick with, I found that building rapport over the internet is really important. And the majority of my lead kit is will kits. So it's really important to be patient and to talk to them and step by step walk them through how to get through it. And they really appreciate that. And you get some laughs from it, you get some frustration from it, but you both make it together. So it's always important for me to compliment them and saying a good job at what they did. And, just little things like that, especially with the older people. And then, of course, setting these up, it's always about the current situation and how we're in the business of serving people and keeping people safe. And that's why we're trying to move into this virtual presentation so that, we can keep our clients and our future clients safe from this craziness that's going on right now. One of the big things on my sale the other day with the POS was just really being genuine, being honest. I apologize a lot and thank them for being patient with us going through this new time as we're going through learning how to do these virtual presentations. But then also knowing, I had a little bit of knowledge about the POS's background and culture before I even got on the phone. So when I was able to get them online, I was able to use what I knew about their culture and a little bit behind, a little bit about their background. They're Palestinian from coming out of Jordan. They immigrated here and they opened up and they told me everything, how they won the green card lottery and, all of this wonderful stuff. So when you're able to listen and then apply that genuine connection, that's when really you're able to transfer the emphasis or transfer the excitement of what we're doing or the importance of what we're doing across. And business and sales is really just about the transfer of enthusiasm or the transfer of importance or the transfer of need to those people. So be genuine, really connect, really listen, and just be honest. And like, listen, this is new for all of us. And we're all trying to get through this epidemic. This pandemic is new for all of us. And we're all in this together. And our focus is keeping you safe. That's why we're doing this virtually. And that's the purpose of us actually contacting you. So that's what I've been focusing on. And then, of course, the process. That's it. And I appreciate you letting me speak today.
Chris, thanks. It's obvious to me that, one of your strengths is your emotional IQ of just, understanding people where they're at. And empathy is such an important part of what we do. We want to make sure that translates through Zoom, okay? When I talk about empathy, what I'm talking about is understanding them where they're at, understanding that, hey, first of all, we are going through a tough time. One of the questions I saw on the board is, when do you insert talking about COVID-19? First of all, what happens when COVID-19 is over? Then what are you going to talk about? So I would try not to create a whole system around COVID-19. I mean, I'm not saying don't mention it. I would just say don't rely on it to create the urgency. I would say, due to the current circumstances, for your health and for your safety, but to make sure you're still getting these essential benefits, which they've been outlined as essential by the federal government. They've given me special authorization with my license to be able to deliver these benefits to you virtually via Zoom, which is a web conferencing software that is at no cost to you, and I will help you set up. We're trying to get this taken care of for everybody in the community to make sure we get everybody enrolled in the benefits they desperately need. God forbid something were to happen. And so all I need you to do is grab a pen and a piece of paper. I need to give you some important information.
Mike, can I say something real quick?
Yes.
So body language translates through the webcam as well. So lean in. You know what I mean? Don't get comfortable and sit back and lean back in your chair. Lean into the conversation. Lean into the webcam. It does create that more, you know, you're in this, you're working on this, and you're trying to personally connect.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we've got to keep in mind that we're losing that in-person feel. So we want to try to create it. You may need to be a bit more demonstrative than you normally would do. Maybe you would have to speak a bit more clearly so that people can hear you. You know, one of the things I recommend to people, and I know that right now is kind of a tough time to get stuff because literally trying to get a webcam or a microphone or whatever, I mean, it's just really, really tough right now. But what I'll tell you is having a good webcam makes a difference. And then on top of that, I will tell you that having a microphone like this is a great one. It's a Blue Snowball. Okay, this is the microphone that I use for my personal, when I'm at my computer. It's an excellent microphone. They're like maybe 40 bucks. Again, you guys are saving more than that just in gas money right now. You know, maybe it's a $40 or something like that. Setting it up next to you, it provides, you guys can all hear me pretty clearly. It provides great sound. We've had a lot of experience with this. We used it for years in Ohio, and it's not very expensive, but it's an excellent microphone. Blue makes great products. They make the Yeti microphone and the Yeti Pro, but those are just really beyond what you really need. You know, you're not recording a podcast. So have the equipment that you need to be a professional. You know, if you need to invest in a better computer or better laptop, do that. If you need to set up a workstation at your house with 2 monitors so that you can go back and forth between 2 monitors, I'll tell you that's, you know, makes a big difference, and it will really help you on these Zoom calls. So just, you know, if you have a laptop that you can write on, investing in a stylus for $20 or $30 where you can write right on your laptop screen is a game changer. You know, so, you know, we're all in this together. We're all learning together. And I appreciate all of you guys that are sharing your stories with us. Where's Cam Mitchell? Cam, are you on the call, Cameron?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you. There he is. Cam has been doing a phenomenal job. I see your name in my inbox all the time. $3,064 of ALP on the laptop already this week, which just in advance money on the most basic agent contract, you're at close to $1,200 in advance money. And then we throw in a bonus on top of that. And Cam, you've made $1,500. I don't know if you were making $1,500 a week at your last job, but you've made that so far this week from the comfort of your own home, simply talking with people and providing an important service. So share with everybody, what is it that's allowing you to have the success that you're having as you're doing a phenomenal job?
Honestly, like I was talking about it with Isaac this morning, I feel like the way people would mess themselves over is by treating it like it's anything different. Because at the end of the day, it still is a presentation. Like, yeah, we're not sitting in their house with them, but the only difference with that is they should be more comfortable talking to you because a lot of people don't want anyone in their house. So I feel like we mess ourselves over by treating it like, oh yeah, it's virtual now, so that means I have to change everything, which we don't. It's still the same thing. Just go in there or get on there and do your presentation like you normally would and just sell it to them and make them see the importance of it and see why they need it. And I feel like that's all there really is to that. And that's all I have. I'm not a big talker.
You don't need to be a big talker if you're a big writer. You know what I mean? I like people that know numbers. You know what I mean? That know how to count the numbers. In our business, you know, and in business, it's the numbers, and you're bringing the numbers. That's all that matters to me, you know, as far as I'm concerned. But Cam, I got to tell you something. What you just shared yesterday, we had a call with the company and the SGAs that are having a lot of success with the virtual presentation, which, by the way, I think we're going to be the best in the company at this. I'm committed to going 100% virtual if we can. It's going to be a big bet, hoping that it's going to be a permanent thing, but I think it will be. But anyways, you know, I'd like to go 100% virtual. You know, to me, it's better for quality of life, better for safety, better for everything. However, one of the things that I saw from Rick Altig, Rick is the most successful SGA in American Income Life history. And what Rick said was, he said, we really didn't give any direction on what to do because we don't think it's really that different. It's basically the same thing. You're just giving the presentation virtually, and they're crushing it. And, you know, Rick was telling me, he said, you know, some of our people were saying, hey, you know, we're practicing with one another. And what I tell them is you should practice with the leads you have. That's where you should practice to get this thing down. You're talking about a guy whose renewals are, 7 figures a month is what Rick Altig's renewals are. $1 million a month in residual income is Rick Altig's renewals. Okay. So when a guy like that tells me what to do, I do whatever he says. Okay. So just keep it very simple. Don't overthink. Cam, I think that's exactly what our agency needed to hear. I'm going to kick it over to, where's Derek Davenport?
What's going on, Mike?
D squared.
What's up,
There he is. Payback is due. Derek is doing a phenomenal job. And actually, I talked to Andy Benton. He was telling me he was blown away by your presentation. And by the way, when you have an amazing presentation, you're really convincing like Derek is, the biggest thing you got to worry about is your quality, making sure everything is solid, because the people are going to love everything you're telling them and they're going to go with it. But just making sure that you solidify. And I know that this has been an area that you've really been focusing on, Derek. So I'm curious to see, what have you learned? How are you having the success? You're at over $2,200 in production so far for the week. Share with everybody, what you've learned.
So what I've learned first and foremost, I want to thank you and Clayton definitely for setting up that PowerPoint presentation and just all the resources you've given us to help us be successful in, going virtual. But what I've learned is, like, from practicing, I was role playing with Taekwon the other day. We were going through the presentation, kind of playing with Zoom. And then I jumped on for my first appointment the next day, bombed it, totally sucked. So I realized that the only way that you're truly going to get the practice is by doing it. Like you said, Rick told you, sitting down with those leads, it's really running the presentation on leads and just being able to give your presentation the way that you know that you can give it. And what I found is that people will be more susceptible if you treat it just like you treat the field. So what I mean by that is, like, your door knock. When you knock on the door, you smile, great first impression. The same way as soon as that Zoom call starts, you want to keep that enthusiasm. Now I found we got to build rapport a little bit more and more in depth, but I keep it real natural. Like I keep it my honest self. I let them know if I'm feeling a little bit nervous or I'm like going through something. Like, hey, I'm still learning this. This is just new to me, just like it is to you. I'm just honest and upfront with them, but I'm letting them know that I'm going to do my very best in taking care of them and their family. And then I like what Stephanie touched on as far as referrals. That is a huge, huge key. And that's actually what one of my sales was. And I really just rolled it over. Hey, go ahead and get your mom. They happen to be in the same house. And I had them sit down together, go ahead and get on the Zoom call. And that way it was more convenient. And I think people really, they enjoy it that we do it this way a lot better. I think it's a game changer in the aspect of people actually sitting with us, because we don't have to come into their personal space. And what I found is to beat some of the challenges, like as far as the no-shows, if you send a text message that Mike displayed for us all to send out, you send that text message, I'll send it twice. So I'll send it while I'm still on the phone with them to confirm that they received it, as well as confirm that they received the confirmation email. And then I'll send it 10 to 15 minutes before the appointment as well, just to give them as a reminder. And about 5 minutes before the appointment, I will call them, because, we're setting all these appointments. We want to make sure that we sit with these people, and the system plays out the way the system plays out. If you sit with 4 people, or at least 3, you should sell 1. But that's pretty much all I got. Just make sure that you're practicing your presentation. Get familiar with Zoom. Don't just try to go through day and day and you keep failing. Take some time aside from your actual appointments and get familiar with what you're doing, so you don't look so new to everything. And that's what I've been taking a lot of time to do, as far as, just putting more into my craft. I realize that's going to be the key, pouring more into my craft. So that's pretty much all I got, Mike.
Yeah, you got to be a professional, looking like Nelly with that Band-Aid, Derek. EI. But anyways, yeah, awesome advice. Like, I hope you guys were paying attention. He gave you a lot of substance, like real stuff you can implement. And I couldn't agree more with you. I got to tell you, I'm like, I have usually I have an appointment with my barber every week. and I'm like 3 days past because the barber shop's closed, so I know I look like a hippie. But anyways, so if for whatever reason, it's like I don't really think about it because I know I'm going to get multiple text reminders from whatever their reminder service is. We live in a society now where it's like if people are not reminded of things, they just will lose it. So utilize technology of reminding these people exactly what Derek's saying is of, making sure that happens. One of the things that we've also heard from other SGAs having a lot of success with this is that they're not getting off of the set appointment until Zoom is set up. We're not trying to book 10 appointments a day on Zoom. We're trying to book 5 or 6 solid that we believe are for sure going to be there so that you can give 4 or 5 presentations. Okay. And so if you need to spend an extra 5 minutes on the phone of saying, hey, I'm going to wait just to make sure that you know how to do this, whatever it may be, like sending them the actual invitation from your Zoom to their email. When that gets sent, you can also text them that information. Doing those steps of, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, making sure they know that it's, for real, that it's going to happen, that you're setting the time aside for them. And then also I'd recommend giving them 5 minutes to log in after the time. Because like yesterday I had a conference with home office, and our IT people have so many blocks on my office computer, I can't even install software on my own computer. Okay. But I had a call with home office. I could not log in because I couldn't download their software. I figured the workaround of going through the browser, but at first I couldn't. And if they would have left, then I would have missed my meeting. So just something to keep in mind. Let's go over to, where's Isaac Foster? Isaac, are you on this call?
Can you hear me?
Yep, there he is. $2,199 in ALP so far for the week. Doing a tremendous job. You and Cam, who's the first person that you trained, you two are about $5,200 in production. So, it's true that the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Okay. So, Isaac, share with everybody the things that you're doing a phenomenal job. Again, seeing your email, email address in my inbox constantly. You've written a number of smaller deals. Actually, you have a bunch of sales. You've made a bunch of them. And so, once you start figuring out how to get that premium size up, it's going to be lights out for you. You're going to be crushing it.
I think for me, this goes after what everyone said from Stephanie, Sam, Cameron, Derek, Kate, Chris. From everyone saying they're all saying the same thing. Nothing's changed. And Cameron really touched on a lot, and Stephanie touched on mentality. Nothing's really changed. I think Derek hit home hard on the idea of sending a lot of reminder texts. I just got off a Zoom meeting before we had this call with my team, and I explained I'm sending, honestly, a text every 15 minutes in the last hour, and it's giving them a countdown towards it. But at the same time, it's opening the door for them to respond back if they have any questions. I've sat down with a lot of older clients as well, just like Chris was talking about, and they really appreciate being patient. And I think that's the hardest part, is being patient and just being honest. It is frustrating. There's no doubt about it. There is nothing more frustrating than trying to explain how to do reply all to someone that doesn't even know replies there. So it is extremely frustrating. But at the same time, you got to realize that this is all new. We're all going through a time that is kind of stressful and a crisis. So everyone's going to be on edge. So the more patient we are and the more empathetic understanding we are, then it's going to be easier. The one thing, though, that everyone didn't touch on that for me is the number one reason, it's belief. 100% belief. As soon as we came out with this new system, I had 100% belief this was going to work. There was nothing about me that said, oh, this may not work. No, it's 100% going to work. So what I did was I dove right in. Just like Derek talked about, my first one was a bomb too. I didn't know what to do. It wasn't good. I got to give a huge shout out to Clayton in his presentation. That helped me out a lot. But the truth of the matter was, it didn't matter what was thrown my way. I knew it was going to work. And the funny thing is, with that being said, my close ratio has actually gone up. I'm at now about 45% close ratio compared to the 30 I was at. And it's one of those things where I just go right in and believed it. I didn't have to tell myself that this may not work. I just said, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. They put this system in place. I'm going to trust it because I know that Mike, Nikki, Andy, Clayton, I know our leaders have our back. So all I had to do was believe in them and believe in myself, and it's crazy how it just worked out. So yeah, 100% on sending the reminders, 100% on your mentality, 100% on being empathetic, 100% on staying on top of it. But to me, the biggest thing is belief. If you don't believe in what you're doing or you don't believe in what's put in front of us, that it's going to be really, really hard to get over that hump. Because if you notice, the ones that have gone over the hump are not changing anything. They just dove right in and went for it. So you got to believe it. If you don't believe it, it's going to hurt yourself. Just believe it.
And such good advice, Isaac. You know, there's a difference between fact and faith. And, you know, the facts are we're doing something different that is, you know, a little bit uncomfortable, but it's faith that allows you to propel yourself into a state of belief of saying, hey, there's a lot of people that have our back. There's a lot of support here. This is the direction that we're going, and we're going to do everything we possibly can to do our part to produce a lot, do it with integrity, and to master this system. The first time you dribbled a basketball probably did not go great. First time you gave a presentation in the homes, I mean, I don't know about you guys, the first presentation I ever gave in a house, I feel like I blacked out. I don't even remember what happened. I just know I got to the close, okay? It's so nerve-wracking. So we're going through those experiences again, and for some of us that have some experience, we don't like going back to that place. But let me tell you something. The place you're in right now is not a place you're going to stay in. It's a place that you start in and you're going to work your way out of with faith. Eventually, the faith will become fact and you're going to see it right before your eyes. And so thank you so much for sharing that with us, Isaac. I'm going to kick it over to Alyssa. Where is Alyssa from Team Nikki Sanders?
Hey, Mike, I'm right here.
Hey, Alyssa. Alyssa,
Hey,
share with everybody how you're doing a phenomenal job. $2,338 in ALP so far this week, virtual. You're yet another example of someone that I have so much belief and faith in. You know, I love everything about your attitude and you just, the production just wasn't where I'm like, this girl's so much. I mean, she should be killing it. Now, all of a sudden, we go to the virtual and you just, boom, you take off. And so talk a little bit about that.
Well, you know, everybody's talked about, can y'all hear me okay? Y'all can hear me good? Everybody's talked about, you know, mindset, opportunity, activity. That's things that we talk about all the time because this job hasn't changed. It's still the same. It's the same as when we sit in front of somebody. It's the same as when we're in the Monday huddles. It hasn't changed at all. But the world has changed. And so I think one thing that people haven't really touched on is we think about mindset for ourselves, but we don't think about the mindset of the people that we're sitting with. People are in quarantine. People are, they have themselves and their children, and that's it. And so when you get on this Zoom call with people, it's not important just for you to be motivated for yourself to keep you going, but it's important for you to be motivated for them and call it out and be like, listen, I don't know if you're like me, but I've been stuck in the house with my mom and my sister for the last 14 days, and I'm just excited to see another face on my screen. You know what I mean? Like they're in that mindset where they are so tired of mundane every day. There's only so much you can watch on Netflix. There's only so much that you can watch on Hulu and all of that. And so when you're coming into their little virtual world, you're actually a breath of fresh air for them. You know, and that's something that we don't get all the time when we knock on someone's door. So it's huge to take advantage of that. And then you know what? If this stays permanent, which I think we're all going to kill it and make it permanent, then it changes to, I know you're as busy as I am. So I'm really glad that we're able to do these virtual sales. So that way, you know, it saves time for me and you. So it's just about adapting, you know, and American Income is huge about giving us all the tools that we need to be successful at that. The only other thing that I would say that other people haven't touched on, you know, we've got a lot of stuff rolling out to us as far as like, you know, Clayton's PowerPoint and things like that. The company's making sure that we have everything that we need, but it's also our business. We own it. It's our business, and it's our job to take a little bit of responsibility for that. If there's a slide that you know would make your presentation better, if there's something that you know would make you kill it, make it. Get on PowerPoint, import something in, we have everything digitally, and make that slide, make that PowerPoint, add it into that, everything, you know, you can edit. So that way you can make your presentation flow as seamlessly as possible. You know, when we're in the homes, we have all the tools. This is a new thing. We don't all have all the tools that we need. And it's only because we don't know what we need yet. So if you need something, make it. If you're finding a problem over and over and over, get with your leadership and say, hey, listen, I'm finding this problem. Is there a slide or something that I can say to fix it? You know, communication is huge right now because it is new for everybody. And so that's a big thing, but we need everybody to come together and go, hey, this is how I think we can fix it. Look, this is a slide I made, or this is something that I added. We're not changing the presentation, but we're not sitting in front of people with a piece of paper anymore. So they only see what you put on their screen. And you need to make sure that whatever you put on their screen is something that's going to captivate their attention, along with your motivation to get them out of their shell and they're out of their little quarantine mindset. So that's what I have, Mike.
Alyssa, great advice. I love, taking the initiative. I love your mindset, your attitude. Again, one of the things that I'm seeing from multiple people, Sam, Isaac, Alyssa, empathy. Hey, we're all in this together type thing. From a rapport standpoint, absolutely critical. From a sales standpoint, absolutely critical. And Alyssa, great job. I couldn't, you basically stole a number of the things that I was going to share, which I love. That means we're on the same page. Last but not least, at $2,270 of ALP out of Team Nikki Sanders. Let's all hear from Monica Montgomery. Monica's been on a tear the last couple of months. She's really been on fire. So Monica, share some stuff with our people. Help them.
So, I think with me, the first thing was definitely mindset, just kind of recapping what everybody, I had a chance to hear from everybody, which was cool. But mindset, when I first initially started doing it, I was like mad awkward. I don't know about you guys, but I was like super awkward. It wasn't just the first one for me. It was like the first 3 were like mad awkward. I didn't really know how to incorporate like the will kit and everything like that. So I'm like the queen of overcomplicating things, if y'all didn't know. So I'm working on that. I was listening to a Tony Robbins podcast, and he said like the enemy of execution is complexity. So that really just got me thinking. It's like pretty much the same like as a field appointment, except you have to pay more attention to your like tonality, because they can see you and they can hear you. But you have to be really in tune with them. The rapport has to be strong. You have to have a really strong like.
Please mute your phones.
No, maybe. Okay, so the next thing is I took like 10 minutes to hop on YouTube and find like a couple tutorials on Zoom, because I had no clue what I was doing. So I did Zoom, I downloaded Zoom, and then I went on Amazon. I bought my stylus for my Surface Pro, which has made it like way easier just doing the 2 job and everything like that. So it's really just getting familiar with the technology and making sure that everything's as smooth as possible so you're not awkward. Because if you're like trying to figure out how to share the screen and how to keep them looking at what you want them to be looking at, you just have to kind of know what you're doing. But aside from that, I really just think it's mindset. On the phones with my show ratio, I really just try to, I'll be honest, I don't come in with a lot of appointments. Like I had like 2. And what I do is I just hop on the phones. And if I get them on the phone, like I'm just trying to get them on Zoom while I get them on the phone. So if I have an appointment set, I do exactly what Sam said. I call 10, 15 minutes prior so we can kind of set everything up together. I also send multiple reminders via text, via email, so they don't forget. There's not any excuses. But I really just call. And if I get them on the phone, like if you have time to talk to me on the phone, you have time to, hop on a Zoom call with me. So, other than that, just be genuine, be sincere, focus on how they see you. Make sure your background is like professional. If you're in your jammies, make sure it's like bottom down, from voice below. But other than that, I think it's just reps and practice and getting as much time with clients as possible, and it's just going to help you get better at it. I'm trying to put together like a will kit presentation because I'm like crazy with cancer pitches. That's all I do. I just pitch cancer. So I'm trying to put together like a will kit presentation with the cancer facts and figures and just try to make it as simple as possible. But that's it.
Monica, thank you so much. Great job. Thanks for sharing that with us. Winston Churchill said that success is going from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm. And you can't lose your enthusiasm in this. You can't lose your enthusiasm in the dream that you had for what you wanted your career to be at American Income. We're so fortunate to not be among the 3.2 million people that got laid off this past week, the people that can't go to work, the people that got pay cuts. Guys, the oil industry right now, and people are getting pay cuts and losing jobs and all that. We're in an essential business and people absolutely need what we do. The beautiful thing about what we do is, we can help people at, $10 a week, $20 a week, $30 a week, $40 a week. We have a lot of will kit leads. Seniors, they don't experience up and downs. I mean, they basically are making the same amount of money every single month, no matter what's happening in the economy. And so, you know, there are really too many great things to talk about, but I want to thank every single one of you for your hard work and your effort in getting better at this. Remember that at some point in time, when you're chopping down a tree, it's going to take one more swing of the axe, or if you're sawing, it's one more pull of the saw that's going to topple that thing over. Just don't stop chopping. Don't stop sawing. We are going to, commit ourselves as an organization, and I need all of your help to being the best agency in the company at this virtual presentation. We don't have everything figured out yet. You're helping us. Your feedback is helping us. We will create a system. It is going to be the bomb, and we are going to continue to crush it. Make sure we have something that's easy to teach and duplicate. But for right now, don't complicate it. Monica, I love that quote that you shared. The enemy of execution is complexity. The enemy of execution is complexity. The enemy of execution is complexity. Execute the simplicity of the system the best that you can. Add in the reminders. Let's have a phenomenal weekend this weekend. I cannot wait to see my inbox coming in filled up with authorization forms from all you guys making all kinds of money. We're over $60,000 of ALP so far for this week. We're really not that far behind pace. Some of you that have not had a great week, I truly believe, pray that you're going to have a phenomenal weekend, that you're going to be blessed this weekend, that we're going to help a lot of families, and that things go in your favor. Thanks for being on this call today. Let's rock these phones just like we were doing it in person. Let's set these appointments. Let's book these calls. Let's make this money. Let's protect these families. Let's do our job, because every single one of you is essential. Let's go. Let's rock this deal.
Thanks, Mike.
Yes, sir.